Yo, so look, squad, we got story time, right? And it's an interesting video and it's definitely a crazy one. So, first and foremost, I hope everybody's, day's going well and yo, make sure to eat that food and drink some water. It's very important, you stay hydrated and take care of yourself. But yo, sorry I keep laughing. It's because it's kind of crazy and I'm trying to tell the story to the best of my ability, right? Because it happened like a couple years ago, but anyway, so this is the story in the time that I was in rehab and a hotel room caught on fire. And it was a controlled fire, thankfully, and I'm not the one that started it, but it was pretty crazy situation. So, you know, let's backlog a little bit before, to when it happened. So, it was the last day, right? Of so when you're in rehab, you have to go to detox and then you go to residential, which is for like 30 to like 35 days. And then you go to IOP, which is intense outpatient program. And then, so it was me and my boy. And you know what? We're gonna call my friend Jay for this video, just for identity and stuff like that. So, yo, me and my boy Jay, right? We had like linked up in the rehab and it's kind of weird in this shit. It's kind of whack as fuck to say and corny, but we were accountability buddies. That's what it was. And to be honest, to be honest with you, that's kind of whack just saying it right now, like at the time being. So me and my boy Jay, we were just like, damn, like we can't wait to get out of this motherfucking bitch. Like, we just spent the last 30 days in here. We were just like, fuck, like, what's going on? Like, what the fuck is even going on here? So, after getting all our paperwork and shit, we were waiting at like our last, couple of minutes. And, or not our last couple of minutes, I guess I would say like our last hour just waiting because you have to like, check out, get your paperwork, and then they give you a certificate to go to IOP, and then you gotta go to the fucking nurse, and then you gotta get your meds, and it's just a whole bunch of hooey, right? It's a bunch of bullshit. So, we're sitting in like the nurse's office, waiting to get our meds so we can go to the other part. And we're like, damn, like, yo, we can't wait to get the fuck out of here. Because like, if you guys know rehab, it's like basically high school and a bunch of people with IQs that are like less than fucking like three. I'm telling you, you got a bunch of fucking Neanderthals in there and a bunch of like people that don't understand life. Anyways, we'll get to that in another time. But so, we get our meds, we, are waiting for this Sprinter van. It was like a Mercedes Sprinter van that they would pick us up in. And yo, this rehab wasn't like any other rehab, let me fucking tell you. This shit's crazy work. But anyways, we were waiting for the fucking Sprinter vans to come and pick us up, right? Because we were gonna go to this, I guess like right after you go to get your meds, right? You get to go to the well, so you don't really have the option, but either you get to go to this apartment part, right, where it's you and like three buddies or four buddies and you guys all share an apartment. And it's actually it looked like some good ass living, to be honest with you, because right before like all of that happened, there were some people from the hotel and the apartment area that showed us like pictures of the living situations and what to expect and this and that and the third. So me and my boy had the fucking luxury of getting selected to go to the hotel. And right after you get your meds and right after you get all your shit, you have to get in the van, and then they take you with all your bags of shit to the hotel across the street. Mind you, there's still like BHTs and there's still like people that gotta account for you and make sure that you're there and stuff like that. It's just not like they put you in a hotel and here you go, guys, stay sober. And we get to the hotel, right? And already off the back, this hotel is ghetto as fuck. Let me tell you. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the rooms were pretty nice, but anyways, this hotel is ghetto as fuck. We pull up and me and my boy Jay, we're just standing, right? We're just standing outside and we don't know what the fuck to do. And we're like, all right, whatever. So, we're walking around and, we get some coffee and we're just standing there talking. And then one of the BHTs, they find us and like, hey, where you guys been? We got to give you your room keys to your hotels. And we're like, bet. So sorry, we get into the room, right? And it's a normal day. We're just chilling, and he helps me unload my stuff because he has to go to another room. Like, as cool as it would have been to be sharing a room with this dude, you know what I mean? Because he was actually like, he's actually a really cool fucking guy. They, separated us at birth. No, I'm just kidding, but they separated us and shit, right? And so he went to another room after he helped me get my shit, and then well, not he went to his room. I helped him get his shit to his room, and then the day was pretty normal. You know what I mean? It was just like linking up with people that were also headed here and there because everybody had their own date. So it's not like everybody at once went to fucking the hotels and the apartments and shit like that. Everybody came in the rehab at all different times. So, their dates are all different. So, there was a couple of people though that were going there the same day. We just were a couple hours apart, I guess you could say. And so, after all that shit happened, the other people finally got there. So, we're just kicking it, we're smoking cigarettes, and we're just talking, just shooting the shit. And so I go back to I guess I would say like the lobby or like where you get like the breakfast snacks and shit like that at the hotels. And I got some more coffee. So what was crazy about this day, right, is I guess you have the luxury of when you get there the first day, you don't have to do any classes and shit because you have to do like, substance abuse classes and anger management classes, and it's a whole bunch of shit. Let me tell you guys. You guys are basically going to school if you guys are going to go into a rehab. If you guys go into a good facility, it's basically school and trying to find yourself and all this bullshit. You know what I mean? But me and my boy, we basically had our shits like somewhat more together than everybody else. And not to say that because everybody's from their own walk of life, right? But everybody definitely needed more help mentally than me and my boy. We just needed, to get off the shits, and then we were good because we basically had a stable life before. Or I wouldn't say mine was stable, but mine was becoming more stable. So Jay finally leaves his room, right? And we link back up, and there was another gentleman there, and we're gonna call this guy Andrew, right? And Andrew was a weird fella, let me tell you. He was someone that I guess came there from doing like a 7 year stint in prison. And so, long story short, right? Like, I don't know if like he was, kind of a closet kind of guy, you know what I mean? But he would do some like questionable, some questionable shit. He would do some pretty zesty shit. So, This guy was this guy was weird, right? He was fucking ghetto rigging vapes that ran out, like so he could recharge them and do all this bullshit with them, or fill Nick juice in it when they would run out of their like disposable juice they would come with. And so this fucking guy, right? I guess like he's talking to us and stuff, and you know what I mean? Like we're just trying to be a little bit cordial, and he's like, "All right, guys, well, I gotta go to the room, so I can go charge this vape real quick." And we're like, all right, bet. And the vape he's smoking on, guys, looks like he's about to, it looks like some like pipe explosive. It looks like fucking ghetto rig duct tape to a fucking battery and connected wires and then had this fucking juice system. I don't fucking know, guys. It was some like MacGyver ass fucking addict shit, let me tell you. And so, he's like, all right, guys, well, I gotta go charge the vape. And we're like, well, all right. So, me and my boy Jay, we're doing our thing, we're smoking, right? And mind you, so I guess this was like, this was, I guess, like 40, 50 minutes apart because, yo, when we were in rehab, we would chain smoke. Like, when you guys hear my rehab stories, I most likely got a stogie in my mouth half the time or some type of vape or, you know what I mean? It's crazy work. So, anyways, he leaves to go charge his vape, and we're doing our thing. So there was these girls at the time that got out of their van, right? And we were like, yes, sir. So me and the boy were shooting the shit with these girls, asking them like, yo, where your rooms at and this and that. And I guess they were on the other side because they had it set to where the guys were on one specific side, but the girls were on another specific side. And there was only so many behavioral health techs, so they couldn't watch everybody. So it was just to prevent, all the guys and girls from basically catching the clap and shit. Cause yo, there was a crazy story. Let me tell you guys, there was a crazy ass story where three people caught syphilis, and it was just disgusting. Guys, don't mess with girls in rehab. Let me tell you, just maybe have a conversation to pass some time, but yo, don't be getting into rehab romance. That's not the way. So anyways, they go to their room and shit, and then this is where it gets kind of interesting. Me and the boy were talking, right? And we see a couple of BHTs rush like down the hall, down the other way. So it was like a weird like outside hallway, if I can like explain it right. And so we're like, damn, like what's going on? So our fucking nosy asses were like, all right, bet, we're gonna go ahead and see what's up. So we're walking towards that direction, right? And already like we hear a little bit of a commotion and we turn the corner and we see a little bit of fucking smoke coming out of the hotel room and we're like, damn, like what the fuck happened, right? And they're trying to get everybody away from the situation, because they have to like get everybody to I guess the parking lot of the hotel. And so as we're leaving and shit, and we see more smoke coming out and stuff, and we go to the parking section where um they had it outside the rooms, and we're talking, trying to find out what happened, right? And I guess the fucking guy who had the fucking time explosive fucking MacGyvered ass vape tried to fucking charge it, and he tried to stick the vape under the pillow, right? And so my thought on that was, I guess, if I was like in the guy's fucking like low ass IQ fucking mind, it would be that, all right, well, I'm gonna put it under the pillow so people don't see this fucking crazy ass ghetto rigged vape and like either throw it away or confiscate it, or because they might, because that shit looks like a danger in general. And so he was trying to charge that shit, right? And he had it under the pillow, and I guess fucking it got too hot because he threw it on a fast charger and he didn't fucking know. And Andrew, he fucking left, I guess, when he put the fucking vape on the charger. And not even 5 minutes after he plugged it in, the shit exploded under the pillow and it caught like the bed sheets on fire and the bed on fire. And yo, that shit was fucking crazy. We are like, damn, like how the fuck can you be how can your brain be so small to where you don't think in common sense to put a fucking ghetto ass rigged vape on a fast charger? And you're not even supposed to be putting vapes on fast charger, guys. Don't let the fucking box fool you. Put it on a normal charger that charges, normal USB to, USC or to micro USB, whatever you guys need. But fast chargers are gonna ruin your guys' shit. And yeah, so long story short, the fool caught the fucking room on fire, and that was some crazy work. So, yo, this story is something different, let me tell you. And I was holding this one off for a little bit, and not that I was holding it off, I barely started getting into story time, guys. But yo, we have crazy stories. I'm gonna be talking about the stories while I was like 4 bars deep, and I crashed into a fucking wall to a house. And that wasn't fun. And then my ass tried to fucking evade with the fire. Okay, yeah. Let me just let me just stop right there. And you know what? These stories are gonna be getting even crazier. But guys, let me tell you, if I can give you any advice from today's story, don't don't it's common sense, but don't ghetto rig a vape. That's the first one, right? The second one is don't put that shit on a fast charger and put it under the pillow. Guys, you shouldn't be putting vapes under a pillow because what happens is it has less like fucking air to breathe, you get me? And the batteries basically I would say the battery gets hot when you have it between two fucking cushions, it gets even hotter. I don't really know the correct terms and how to explain it, but that's what happened, guys. And if I can give you any more advice, guys, don't find rehab romance. Don't find romance in rehab. Like how me and my wife worked, we had met each other on like an app, right? But we didn't know anything about each other at all. We had to learn things about each other. Don't get me wrong, like she used to drink and stuff like that, but she doesn't drink anymore. And me, I don't do substances anymore, but I was on the pills heavy. So we have different vices. That's the way it works. But with rehab romance, You guys are susceptible and you guys are also very sensitive to relapsing in like the first like 60 days you guys leaving there. So be very mindful. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but yo, don't find rehab romance. Find yourself some romance out of the rehab and let me tell you, you're gonna be clapping cheeks like no tomorrow. But boys and girls and shit, if you're an old person or shit an adult or whatever age you're watching this at, I have age restrictions, so obviously you guys are 18 and plus. But yo, what the fuck are y'all guys up to? We're just chilling in this motherfucker. I woke up pretty early today. I was up by like 6:30 in the morning, and I hate that shit. I don't know if you guys are early birds, and I don't know what the fuck is up with my body, but I'd be fucking waking up the sun. I am the circadian rhythm. The fuck? Yeah, yeah, and you guys are enjoying this gameplay, but I have a lot of content to create today, so that's exactly what we're doing, guys. And thank you for the subscriptions. Every day I get in, or not every day I get a new subscriber. That was about to be big cap. Your boy was about to be big cap, like so big cap that you meet someone and you tell them you're flipping packs like fucking Manza Musa and you're really just flipping a zip. That's how much cap that was. But yeah, guys, we gain a new subscriber at least once a week. And we're almost at the goal to 100, the monthly goal to 100. But guys, the yearly goal is to 3,000 subscribers or more. And when we get to that 3,000 subscriber mark, I'm going to be doing cash giveaways. So get the fuck on your shit and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. The fuck you doing? The reason you ain't getting no ass is because you ain't subscribed to the 10 Toes fucking collective. Get on your shit, my man. But yo, this is interesting, and I hope you guys are having a good day. And on to the next one. Later.